Purchase orders. Purchase orders must be generated for all commitments made to suppliers. This includes parts purchases and services. Services purchase orders must be linked to a work pack task card. Rotables will require a company work pack for this link. Part items on a parts purchase order can be linked to more than one work pack or aircraft. Parts can also be ordered without a link to a work pack or task card when required for stock. Once received, parts will be issued to a work pack task card or remain in the store. Quantities. When ordering stock in AMS, it is important to use the quantity units that will be issued. The purchase order should not be for a box of masking tape if the tape will be issued by the roll. Another commodity where this is an issue is oil. Engine oil is packaged in 500 ml, 1 liter and 200 liter containers. Receipting a 200 liter container of oil and then issuing it in units of 1 will result in 200 liter being issued and not 1 liter. This creates selling price anomalies in that the 1 unit is now shown on the work pack as the selling price of 200 liter. Should commodities and parts be available in differing packages, a procedure should be made of entering the part by unit sold. RFQ. If required, use can be made of the request for quote function in AMS. An RFQ is created and sent to suppliers and converted to a purchase order when an acceptable quote is received. Orders created from RFQs or directly entered must be authorized before they can be printed as an official purchase order. This is done by a user with the correct user rights. Once an order has been authorized, it can no longer be edited or adjusted. The purchase order must be unauthorized before editing can be done. Purchase order types. Purchase order types can be selected when a new purchase order is created. The type changes the functionality and requirements of the purchase order and must be defined when it is created, as it cannot be changed later. There are currently 4 type options. Parts. This is a normal parts order used to procure parts. An existing part number must be specified. The task card link is optional. If a task card item is specified, the part will automatically be issued to the task card on receipt. For traceability purposes, a direct issue on receipt is still viewed by the application as received into stock and issued to the work pack. If no task card is specified on the purchase order, the part will be entered into store on receipt. This part can then later be issued to a task card. Services. This order type is used when services type work is carried out by a third party. This purchase order type must be linked to a task card, as the task card contains the description of the work to be done. This order type can only have one line item and the cost will be allocated to the task card on receipt. Rotables. This order type is a combination of the above 2 types. A part must be selected, and this is then sent to the supplier for repair or exchange. The task card must also be specified, as this will contain the description of the task to be done by the supplier. This order type can only have one line item and the cost will be allocated to the task card on receipt. Rotable purchase orders have one additional requirement. A part must be selected from the store to be returned to the supplier. This action is only required prior to authorizing the purchase order. The allocated part can be linked at any time but will not be removed from the store before the purchase order is authorized. Once a user is ready to proceed with a rotable, the purchase order must be edited to issue the specific part batch from the store to the purchase order, and this will then be removed from store. By default, the oldest, unserviceable store entry will be linked to the purchase order. This part in the inventory must have the status, unserviceable. Rotables can also only have one part linked to any one the order. General. A general order can be used to place orders not related to the maintenance of an aircraft. This functionality is provided to allow the use of the standard purchase order system for all company orders. This can be used for anything from stationery to cleaning materials, etc. Editing purchase order line items. The order line items can be edited on existing orders, but the functionality is reduced, depending on the order status. Editing is not allowed on an authorized order. The order must be unauthorized before it can be edited. The following checks will be done. For parts orders, the selected part status must be such that it allows orders to be placed. A part indicated as obsolete will not be allocated to an order item. For parts orders and services orders, the WorkPack task card ID provided must be valid WorkPack card linked to an open WorkPack. The linked part and WorkPack card cannot be altered once items are received on a purchase order line item. The ordered quantity cannot be less than the quantity already received on an order item. If the ordered item is specified less than the received quantity, it will automatically be changed to the received quantity. A purchase order item cannot be marked as frozen once all the ordered parts are received. Freeze. A freeze button is provided to freeze all outstanding purchase order line items. This can be done if a purchase order with outstanding items must effectively be closed. To use this function, users must have purchase order edit authority. It is possible to freeze a specific line item if the full order will not be delivered by the supplier. The item will remain on the original PO to retain originality. The items will no longer be shown as due items, and it is not required to reduce the order quantity for such items. This can be done even if the ordered line has been partly received. The undelivered item will be frozen. Orders can be cancelled after line items were partly received. All outstanding line items will then be effectively frozen. To select this function, the purchase order must meet the following criteria. 1. The order must be authorized. 2. The order must be active. 3. The order must contain incomplete line items, with more items on order than received. 4. Calculate. Purchase order note field. Purchase orders may include any supplier-specific messages as provided on the supplier page. Each purchase order can have a field with specific instructions related to the order. In addition, a short note field is also available on each line item of the order. The line items will have a reason note field which is for internal use and will refer to the reason or allocation intended for the ordered item. This should not be confused with part linking. Each line item can be allocated a planned or required date, which will assist with the management of late or overdue items. Calculate. A calculate button is provided. This will check the integrity of the order in relation to the inventory. The calculate step on purchase order level will make changes to the order and inventory if discrepancies are identified. To use this function, users must have purchase order receive access. In order to calculate a purchase order, the order must be authorized. The order must be active. Valid records must exist in the inventory for each order line item. Task card linking. Purchase order items are intricately linked to task cards. The order type determines the link required. Parts order. A parts order does not have to be linked to a task card. When a task card is linked, the part will automatically be issued to the linked task card when it is received. Parts not linked to a task card will remain in store and can later be issued to a task card. Parts cannot be linked to any system task or task in a system WorkPack. Services order. All service orders must be linked to a task card as a service cannot remain in the store. The service cost will be linked to the task card on receipt. Services cannot be linked to any system task or task in a system work pack. Rotables. All rotable orders must be linked to a task card, as the instructions are contained in the task section of the task card. On receipt, this rotable part will be issued to the task card. A system rotable work pack has been created for repairs not linked to a work pack. These rotable parts will be in the store on receipt of the order. It can later be issued as a part to a task card. The service cost will be linked to the task card on receipt. General, these orders are not linked to any task cards. Creating a task card. To facilitate the creation of task cards when placing an order, there are a number of options to select the source. It is also possible to create a task card when the purchase order is created. Existing task card. Users are able to select an existing task card. No task card can be used for parts orders and general orders. New system task. For rotables, users can select this option to create a task in the rotable system work pack. The supplier information field will be used to define the task description. New work pack task card. For this selection, users must select an open work pack and a new task card will be created, using the supplier information field as the task description. The associated aircraft airframe will be linked to the task. This may be edited later if required. Freight. The shipment price is added to the purchase order value. This is used to determine the total landed cost of an inventory item. Freight costs per consignment are not always available at the time of the PO receipt. The shipment function is used to add the freight cost at a later stage. The shipment function may also be used to spread the freight costs of numerous consignments over a calendar period so as to average the freight cost. Unless the user wants to make it a line item in the purchase order, but that might then complicate allocation of the shipment. i.e., the purchase order and parts received costs exclude shipping costs. When the parts are received, the cost is the invoice value for the item, which should be the PO value. When shipping costs are received at a later stage, it should be allocated proportionally to all GRVs in that shipment, even if the inventory items were already issued to an open WP. When the work pack cost is calculated, available shipping costs are included in the work pack costs. Selling price calculation will also include shipping before the markup. Selling calculation. Part selling prices are based on the highest cost of the parts currently in stock. Part selling can be individually calculated on the calculation page or in bulk. The bulk calculation should be used with care as it will be difficult to identify any incorrect adjustment in the price. A number of factors will influence the final selling price. A suitable method should be set for each company. All parts are linked to a part group. Note, the part group default is 1. A factor other than 1 can be entered for a part group. This factor will then be included in the selling price calculation. Parts received linked to a foreign currency will adjust the currency to the latest rate as defined in the Forex page. This is used to adjust for exchange fluctuations of imported parts. Each company must set a general inventory markup for parts in the parameters page. The selling price is then calculated as follows. Store selling equals highest unit cost in stock x current exchange rate x group factor x inventory factor. Note that the unit cost includes the shipping costs as recorded and allocated in the GRV shipping section. The latest selling price adjustments will be incorporated in the work pack when it is calculated. Selling prices linked to a work pack cannot be altered once it has been closed. It is however possible to adjust the individual selling price of a part on a work pack once it has been calculated. Note that calculation will reset all selling prices that were adjusted before the calculation took place. For this reason, it is recommended that any selling adjustment be done before a work pack is closed. Closing will lock all selling prices. Services selling price is done similarly. There is no group factor, and the actual cost is used as base for the calculation. Services selling is calculated based on a factor defined in the parameters page. Note that all selling calculations will be ignored if the work pack is based on cost factors for parts or services. If a factor other than 0 is specified, the selling will be based on the actual cost price. List prices. List price functionality allows for the setting of a selling price for a part regardless of the costs. This is used when parts are be sold at a fixed price. It is also a handy function for take on stock when the cost might not be available. To set list prices, user must have parts management access to adjust a list price. The following rules guidelines apply. Note that once a list price is entered for a part, the selling price will be forced to the list price and not be calculated from the cost. List prices can be linked to another currency, but it must be ensured that the exchange rate is correct in the Forex page when the selling is calculated. The selling price will only be adjusted when the part is calculated and not when issued to a work pack. Selling prices can however be adjusted as normal in the work pack, should a different value be required. Care must be taken when using cost factors on a work pack, as this will override list price, as the selling will be calculated based on cost. Shipment. As an aid to parts costing, AMS has a facility to add freight and import duties to an entire shipment received. As shipment costs are usually received later than the parts and invoice, the GRV number is used to allocate shipment costs after receipt. The GRV may span a number of PO receipts to spread the shipment cost over a wider number of receipts. Reporting. Various reports are available to aid users and management in managing the store.